Hello guys, this is Brad, and I'm finally going to do my take on this fragrance here, Carthusia Uomo. And let's see, there's the box, and here's the bottle here. In case you didn't know the story behind this purchase, I believe it was last year, Mark had actually sent me a gift code to Lucky Scent. He wanted me to purchase a niche bottle, courtesy of him. Very generous of him to do that. Of course, uh, I have never purchased any bottles from Lucky Scent before, and at the time, my exposure to niche fragrances was a bit limited as well. And a lot of the fragrances that I did have my eyes on were not in stock as well, so it was a bit of a challenge. And I didn't want to have to contribute a lot of my own money from, you know, for the purchase because I'm more of a designer head person, so if I chip in $50 of my own money for a niche purchase, then I'm thinking, well, why not just buy, a designer bottle? So the compromise that I made is I purchased this, and this was $85, and then ended up getting some samples, basically to spend the rest of the money. So I thought I did pretty good that way because I got a lot of nice samples. I was able to test out the entire Sirius line, some Healy fragrances, Mark Burley's Charles Street. So that was a great thing as well. So, but the purpose of this video is to talk about Carthusia Uomo. And the reason I chose this one, in addition to the price, is that I also did like a generic search under aquatics, and this came up. Now this fragrance is classified as a woody aromatic, but I do believe you could also classify it to some degree as an aquatic as well, depending on your interpretation of the notes. So 2004 release. Like I said, it was $85 when I purchased it. Now it's running for about $95 for the 50 mils, and is also out of stock. And I actually checked different websites. I couldn't find it anywhere in stock, so I'm not sure what's going on there. If this fragrance is even going to be made available again or what. The best thing to do right now, if you want to try some, I believe, is to go to Perfumed Court, maybe get a decant through them, if they still have it. I mean, it says they do, but you'd have to check that out and see. In the notes from Lucky Scent, we have citrus, cedar, kelp, cashmere, notes of sea air, and essences of fruit. And if you do some additional research, raspberry is generally what's mentioned as the fruit, and rosewood is mentioned as well. At base notes, we have 9 positives, 7 neutrals, and 1 negative. So I actually did wear this one day to work last week, just from testing it and wearing it casually. I wasn't really sure if I felt comfortable wearing this as a work scent, but I went ahead, just gave myself a few light sprays and wore it to work last week because I generally do like to try to wear fragrances to work at least once before I do review them, unless they are overly inappropriate for that occasion. And this one, in my opinion, is kind of on the edge either way. Um, Basically, what I do get is a lot of that raspberry blended with the seaweed. So, you do kind of get that salty seaweed effect, sweetened up a little bit with the raspberry note, and it doesn't come across as fruity or anything like that. And there's a note in there that gives it like this very like vintage, classy, I don't want to say like mature muskiness, very bold Italian feel to it. That's why I'm a little bit uncomfortable with this one. I wish I could like it more, but I'm just a little bit unsure about it. I don't really feel confident wearing it. One time my wife did sniff this on me, and she said it's not good. So I'm kind of on the fence right now on this one. Um, when I think of an image for this fragrance, and if you read the Lucky Scent description, they kind of allude to this as well. I picture a man, probably late 40s through like late 50s, very um, Italian type man, kind of a big man, kind of hairy. He's got a white shirt buttoned down, gold chains, He's walking through like the boardwalks of Italy. I think of somebody like if you've ever watched some of the old school professional wrestling, Razor Ramon. I think that character kind of emphasizes how I feel about this fragrance. The kind of guy that might be able to pull this off. Um, if you're more into like the feminine sense, I mean, you see the rosewood and you're thinking, well, would you maybe it's kind of like feminine with the rosewood. I wouldn't really call this feminine at all. Um, I think the closest thing I could think of to compare it to would maybe be Bulgari's Aqua, but this does, like I say, have a very more Uomo, which is like the Italian word for man, that kind of an effect to it. Somebody did compare it to Creed's Arolfa, which I haven't tried, so I can't really comment on that comparison. Um, I would say that if you like niche aquatics, it might not be a bad idea if you can get like just a little sample of this one to try it out and see what you think. The seaweed with the raspberry to give it a little bit more sweetness and wearable quality. But like I said, I think a certain person has to wear this fragrance, and I'm not really sure if this really defines my personality very well. But I think I will continue to wear it on and off, more so like outdoors, like the park, going to the beach and things like that, because I think that kind of air would help make this fragrance more suitable. Not really something that I think is the greatest for the confines of like an office or hospital or something like that. So let me get into some scores of the smell. As much as I would like to love this one because I am a fan of aquatics and I saw the seaweed and stuff in there, and I thought it would be a great one to check out. I can only give it 5 out of 10 because of that sort of vintage, musky kind of flavor that it has that I'm not really sure if I'm comfortable with. Projection longevity, I'm going to give it 7 out of 10. I think you could probably get at least 2 to 4 hours of decent, projection off of this stuff. And when I wore it to work, I didn't want it to project that much anyway, so I was kind of casual, very lenient on the sprays. Uniqueness, I will give it 9 out of 10. I'm not sure if I've come across anything quite like this before. Pretty much just got to try it out. If you're a fan of like seaweed, fragrances, kelp, yeah, you're going to want to maybe sample this at some point in your journey. Versatility, I give it 5 out of 10. Not really something that I can see myself just grabbing as easily as something like Aquatic or like any designer aquatic. It's more suitable for certain occasions, I think. Price point, like I said, it's going for about $95 for the 50 ml. Not bad for a niche price, but still 4 out of 10. My overall score, I give this 5 points out of 10, which isn't that great, but I would definitely say for the right person, I'm sure this could be a great fragrance if you're very, like I say, if you have that confident Italian personality. Check it out. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.